Welcome to another episode of Wild Science with HEB. In today's episode, we're going to focus on endangered species and the various programs that the Gladys Porter Zoo is involved in to promote its missions of education, conservation, and research. In the early 1960s, Gladys Porter traveled to Africa and other places around the world. She became concerned when she learned that some animals were rapidly losing their wild habitats and becoming more and more rare. This sparked her desire to build a zoo to breed and protect endangered species.
Hi, my name is Lucy. What is an endangered species?
An endangered species is a living thing that is becoming so scarce it is at risk of extinction. Once it is extinct and the last one is gone, that species is gone forever. In 1968, Gladys Porter and a team of experts began planning the zoo that would make her vision come to life. The zoo they designed had no bars or cages, just open spaces that used rock walls and waterways to keep every different animal safe and in the right place. On September 3, 1971, the Gladys Porter Zoo opened to the public. It was considered ahead of its time because the design of each open-air exhibit looked very much like natural habitat. A lot of things have changed since 1971, and of course, Gladys Porter Zoo can't save any species of endangered animal on its own. Fortunately, Gladys Porter Zoo now belongs to a big group of zoos that all believe in protecting animals and preventing them from extinction. It's called AZA, or the Association of Zoos and Aquariums.
Hi, my name is Natalie. What is the Association of Zoos and Aquariums?
The Association of Zoos and Aquariums is a group of about 240 zoos and aquariums dedicated to conserving animals and educating its guests about the need to take care of our planet. All the while, they provide a fun place for people to go to have fun with their family and friends. An AZA accredited zoo is required to meet the very high standards in animal care. The Gladys Porter Zoo also participates in AZA's species survival plans to help make sure that some kinds of wildlife in human care will survive for many generations to come. AZA zoos work together to follow the guidelines of many species survival plans, like gorillas, flamingos, and Galápagos tortoises, to name a few.
I'm Miranda. What's the species survival plan?
Using scientific data as a guide, each plan makes sure that the animals born in zoos are not too closely related to each other, and that every animal born in an AZA zoo has a good genetic makeup and the promise of a healthy life. In addition, every plan is designed to make sure its particular species will maintain a strong population in zoos for at least 100 years. At the Gladys Porter Zoo, we also carry out our mission by participating in special conservation projects to help endangered species. The zoo also contributes money to fund programs that take place in the home ranges of specific animals in need of attention. Today, we're going to focus on just a few of those projects. Let's start off with Galápagos tortoise research. In the early 1900s, hundreds of giant tortoises were brought to the United States and distributed to zoos to ensure they would not go extinct. Later, it was discovered that although they looked pretty much alike, the tortoises were taken from many different locations and represented about 7 different species, most of which came from different islands in Galápagos. With grant funds obtained by Gladys Porter Zoo, a conservation geneticist was able to identify the species of Galápagos tortoises in human care by drawing blood to examine their DNA. As a result of this project, many institutions, including the Gladys Porter Zoo, now have breeding pairs of like species, and pure babies are being produced. As a result of this work, 2 separate species of Galápagos tortoises have already hatched here. Another project that the zoo is part of is the North American Cooperative Conservation of the Philippine Crocodile, a critically endangered species. zoo staff work with the Philippine government and the Philippine National Recovery Team to both breed Philippine crocodiles and support efforts to preserve their habitat in the Philippines. With only an estimated 200 adult Philippine crocodiles remaining in the wild, several other North American institutions have committed to assist with caring for hatchlings produced at Gladys Porter Zoo, as well as helping support the long-term conservation of these animals. However, the zoo's most recognized project involves the Kemp's Ridley sea turtle, the most endangered sea turtle in the world. Its main nesting beach is about 200 miles south of the Gladys Porter Zoo in Mexico. After generations of people took their eggs and killed the nesting females for food, this species of sea turtle was truly about to go extinct. Since 1981, as part of a joint project with Mexico to protect the Kemp's Ridley, the Gladys Porter Zoo has administered the United States field operation of this joint Mexico-U.S. effort. The goal of this project is to protect the egg-laying females and their eggs and make sure that as many baby sea turtles as possible are released into the Gulf of Mexico. Since the beginning of the project, a little over 4.5 million baby sea turtles have been released into the Gulf of Mexico. At present, nesting aggregations, also known as arribadas, meaning the Great Arrival, are beginning to look more like those in the past. This is necessary for the species to survive without man's intervention. Clearly, we're going in the right direction, but we cannot diminish our present effort if we are to succeed.
Hello, my name is Benito. What is nesting aggregation?
A nesting aggregation is a mass nesting of an animal species. For example, large numbers of sea turtle females will gather together to lay eggs at almost the same time on the shore of a beach. It may come to a surprise to many that the Gladys Porter Zoo, a zoo located far away from any large cities or metroplexes, has some great and noteworthy achievements. We were the first zoo to perform a cesarean section on an orangutan, which is also an endangered species. We were also one of the few zoos to participate in Operation Oryx, a project whose goal was to reintroduce the Arabian oryx to its natural habitat after being declared extinct in the wild in 1972. Oryx bred in U.S. zoos, including the Gladys Porter Zoo, were successfully reintroduced. The successful operation translates into over 1,000 Arabian oryx in the wild population today, including the descendants of some of Gladys Porter Zoo's herd. For the last 50 years, the staff of the Gladys Porter Zoo have worked daily to maintain Mrs. Porter's vision, to preserve endangered animals for future generations to appreciate. Thanks for watching, and we hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and share it with your family and friends.